Have you ever stopped to think about how a massively complex scientific breakthrough actually travels the globe? I mean, picture this. A robotics lab in Tokyo makes an incredible discovery. That exact knowledge needs to be perfectly understood by a manufacturing plant in Stuttgart and a research hospital in Boston. So how on earth does that highly specific data cross linguistic borders without losing its absolute precise meaning? Well, the answer lies in an invisible network. It's this unseen bridge built entirely of human expertise and technological connection that allows global innovation to actually thrive. Because think about it, without this network, we'd just be isolated and scientific progress would literally stall out. So, welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving deep into the science and technology translation genre. We're going to unpack the rigorous infrastructure, the critical mechanics that let the world's most complicated ideas survive that huge leap from one language to another.
Here is our roadmap for the Explainer. We've got 4 main stops today: translating science and tech, the pillars of global knowledge, overcoming translation challenges, and finally, innovations in translation. All right, let's jump right in.
Starting off with Part 1, translating science and tech. Let's lay the groundwork for what this specialized field actually demands.
Now, standard translation usually focuses on things like cultural fluency and getting everyday linguistic nuances right. But sci-tech translation, that is a whole different ballgame. A translator here needs a true dual mastery. They have to know the underlying physics or the biochemical science just as deeply as the grammar. It demands a level of specialized expertise that is, quite honestly, incredibly rare.
And the stakes are sky high. Just imagine a single misunderstood variable or one flipped decimal point in an aerospace engineering document. That doesn't just cause a bit of confusion. We're talking about catastrophic system failures. Linguistic skills absolutely have to meet domain expertise here. These professionals are the ones trusted to make sure the fundamental truth of the information completely survives the language barrier.
Moving to our second section, pillars of global knowledge. Why is building this invisible bridge so globally significant?
Well, because the real-world impacts are massive. Correctly translating safety regulations directly expands markets and, more importantly, safeguards human health. Think about a flawlessly translated medical device manual. That is literally the difference between life and death during a global health crisis. By making all this vital info accessible to policymakers, researchers, and businesses alike, translators are basically the unsung drivers of global advancement.
Imagine a huge international space project or a global vaccine rollout. Without a translator sliding the exact technical data into the right place, the whole collaborative picture just stays totally fractured. They provide those final, critical puzzle pieces so innovators can effectively work together unhindered by borders.
But, as you might guess, building this bridge is far from easy. Which brings us to Part 3, overcoming translation challenges.
These folks face an absolute gauntlet on multiple fronts. Linguistically, science is moving at breakneck speed, right? Then, logistically, they are practically always under relentless tight deadlines. Add to that the cultural and legal aspects, where a professional has to navigate this wild, complex minefield of varying international regulatory realities.
The cognitive flexibility required to pull this off is staggering. I mean, a professional might need to totally master the highly abstract vocabulary of cloud computing architecture on a Tuesday morning, and then switch gears to the super rigid, precise terminology of a biochemical lab by the afternoon. It's mind-bending.
And all of this creates a massive burden of conceptual complexity. Here's the thing. If a translator doesn't fundamentally grasp the quantum physics or the organic chemistry behind the text, vital nuances are going to get lost in transit. They absolutely must understand the science itself before even a single word gets converted into a new language.
On top of that, they often have to act as cultural diplomats. Sometimes, a specific tech concept or a software paradigm is so deeply rooted in its culture of origin that the translator literally has to creatively adapt it. Otherwise, the target audience won't even understand its basic function.
Then you've got the logistical nightmare of the document itself. Scientific papers aren't just blocks of text. They are dense labyrinths filled with complex diagrams, equations, and massive datasets. Translators are constantly rebuilding entire visual architectures to make sure everything aligns perfectly, especially in languages that might read right to left instead of left to right.
And of course, the clock is always ticking. Translators operate right on the cutting edge of innovation. That means their final output is usually the very last bottleneck before a huge global product launch or a time-sensitive, multi-million-dollar patent filing. No pressure, right?
Okay, let's step out of that high-pressure gauntlet and look toward the horizon with our final section, Innovations in Translation.
Thankfully, technology is really stepping up to help out here. We are moving way past those clunky generic translation engines. Today, custom neural machine translation systems and advanced large language models are being trained strictly on highly specialized medical or engineering data. They essentially act as super sophisticated co-pilots for the human experts.
Which leaves us with a pretty thrilling question to wrap up this explainer. As AI continues to grow more and more sophisticated, how will this evolving partnership between human linguists and artificial intelligence push the boundaries of global knowledge even further? That invisible bridge connecting us is getting a massive technological upgrade. So keep an eye on the incredible translated world around you the next time you pick up a piece of global tech. Thanks for joining me today, and keep exploring.